Are you ready? All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. In 3, in 2, and in 1, we are on the air with Sean of the South. Let him hear it, everybody. Let him hear it.
Well, I want you to know that I'm excited about this, what you're about to see here. Real excited because this is our annual Jazz and Jokes Jamboree. And we're going to have some great jazz and a great jamboree. I'm not sure about the third one. But we've got a real special guest tonight, a man who I really want you to make feel welcome. He is not only a stellar human being, he is a fantastic trumpet player. He was born naked at a very young age. And his name is Chuck King. Everybody give it up for Chuck King. Trouble knocking at my door. I don't want to see his face no more. If I can stand it, I'm gonna run loose like a bandit. Because when you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you.
They're smiling at us, I guess.
She's not smiling on the front row. When you're smiling, the sun comes shining through.
Yes. But when you're crying, then you bring on the rain. Stop that sight. Be happy again, 'cause when you're smiling, yeah, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. This is your cue to smile.
When you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're smiling, then you're smiling, the sun comes, oh, it's shining through. Tell us, Chuck, tell us, Chuck. When you're smiling,
When you smile,
Lord, when you're smiling, the whole world, the whole world, the whole world smiles with you. Chuck King, everybody. Chuck, when did you start playing the trumpet?
Sean, I started actually when I was in the 5th grade, but I didn't start professionally until the 7th grade.
Was it a trumpet that you started on, or did you start on a flugelhorn? Or a
No, I
cornet?
started on actually the trumpet, yes. My older brother played trumpet, and so I'd always wanted to play it, and I went in and tried it, and the band director said, yep, that's your instrument. So,
You could make a note the first day?
well, I didn't make a note, but I think he needed trumpet players. And
So how many years was that, 5th grade to now?
5th grade to now, that was several years, Sean.
That was back in 1989 when you were 12?
That's right. That's right.
When you were in the middle school band, what were some of the first tunes you played?
I've been working on the railroad.
Really?
Yeah, it was one of the first ones.
What?
Terry Faulkner and I did a duet on that one.
Really?
Yeah.
At what key?
Yeah. Probably, what key was it? Probably it was in F, E-flat concert.
Would you want to do that with us?
No.
What would you like to do now?
Those train songs, I left them behind. I really
Well,
did.
yeah, you have to.
I don't know. You want to think New Orleans and a street down there?
I'm thinking, have you ever seen that Broadway review with, was it Ethel Merman who played Miss Dolly?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know that song?
I think I've done that one, but I have to kind of get in the spirit to do it.
Okay.
So, can you give me a minute and maybe a drum roll?
Yeah, go. Yeah,
Okay.
drum roll if you please.
A little meditative silence. If you'll go. Good afternoon, everybody.
everybody. Well, a man and his wife were walking along in New Orleans, and as they were walking along, a genie appeared before them. Now, this man and his wife, they were 60 years old, had been married for 40 years. The genie looked at him, and the man, he said, "Look, I am here in New Orleans to grant you 2 wishes, not 3, 2. One for you, one for you." He looked at the man, he said, "I'm going with your wife first. What would you like, ma'am?" She said, "Well, I've always wanted to travel. I've always wanted to see the world." The genie snapped his fingers and boom. The woman had a fistful of airline tickets and a helicopter came swirling out of the sky, whisked her off to a cruise ship. He looked at the man. He said, "What would you like, sir?" The man said, "Well, when I've always wanted to be married to a woman who was 30 years younger." The genie snapped his fingers and boom, the man was 90 years old. Stick around, we have a lot more. We're going to play another New Orleans style tune here in honor of you, Chuck. This is a song that we have been working real hard on. What was it called again? Basin Street Blues. Oh, little Basin Street Blues for you, if you will.
You know, jazz is spontaneous, right?
Well, yes.
And that's us. Know how nice it seems, just how much it really means. Glad to be, oh yes sirree, where welcome's free, so dear to me, where I can lose my Basin Street Blues. Sean, tell us a story on that keyboard there, man.
Bud King. What about him? You know any Sweet Georgia Brown?
I do know Sweet Georgia, yes.
Yeah. I hadn't
Do you know her?
I hadn't seen her in a long time.
Yeah. Nobody sees her around much anymore.
Yeah.
Are we leading into Don't Get Around Much Anymore or Sweet Georgia Brown? I do know that song. You know, it's a cool old song. I bet these folks know it.
Yep, probably. Where's Sweet Georgia Brown living?
Well, I think she's back in Georgia.
Yeah.
Yeah. The obvious answer.
This guy is such a wonderful player. I apologize that I haven't told you more about him. So why don't you tell them about yourself?
I'd rather tell them about you.
There's not much to know, but I will tell you, I see a lot of people out there looking at me like a dog looks at a ceiling fan. Like jazz? What does Sean play jazz? And the truth is, I started playing piano when I was 9 years old. I was 9 years old, and my daddy bought a upright piano out of the classified section of the newspaper, wheeled it down the stairs with the help of some of his coworkers, and they dropped it down the flight of stairs, and it smashed, and the case fell off, but the rest still worked really well. And that's what you get when you pay movers and beer. And I learned how to play piano. My daddy said he would not pay for lessons. He said that if Sean wants to learn, he will learn. And the way that I ended up learning was around older players. And I love this style of music that Chuck is playing so much, the golf style, because when I was a young man, I was probably 25, I wanted to go to college, and I had not gone to college. I was a high school dropout, middle school dropout actually. And there were a lot of musicians in the area who knew who I was because I played music. And there was a group of old guys. They were all, at least at the time, they were old. They were in their mid-70s, 80s. And they had a society called the Gulf Coast Jazz Society down where I live in Northwest Florida. And they played Dixieland trumpet, valve trombones, slide trombones, tubas, and all that. And they got wind that I wanted to go to college, these guys. And what they did was they sent out an announcement to their group, and they passed a hat around at one of their functions, and people collected money. There were, a few hundred of these guys. And that hat, they said, was brimming over with cash. And then they had a function wherein they called me in and asked me to play, a young man. And I played some piano for him. I had no idea what was going on. And this man walks up, and he had this check for me. And he said, "We want to help you go to college." And these guys looked up reasons and ways for me to play music. And there were these old players who took me under their wing and taught me how to play, and it was such a formative experience in my life. I went back to see them about a year ago, and most of them are dead now. But the gift of their scholarships that they would give me every year still remains, and that's why I play jazz. So here we go. We're going to play Sweet Georgia Brown.
I will say this, Sean. Playing with, as you can tell, playing with this gentleman, and then you add Steve and Todd. This is no better fun anywhere. So y'all are probably feeling it too, aren't you? Fellas, she can get a fellas. She ain't met. Georgia named her, Georgia claimed her. Sweet Georgia Brown, yeah, Sean. Hey, Steve, one more time.
Wow. So a man and his wife, they were Christmas shopping, and as they were in there, they were going to a department store, and they were browsing all these wonderful things, and the man just kind of disappeared. He wandered off until he was no longer seen. And the wife, she was just distraught. She picked up her cell phone. She said, "Where are you?" He said, honey, calm down. Now calm down. Do you remember that store? It was a store we visited about 20 years ago. We visited that store, and inside that jewelry store, there was a diamond tennis bracelet that you just fell in love with. And that tennis bracelet, you were just weeping over it. And I said that one day, if I could ever afford, if I ever had the means, I would come back to this store, and I would get that for you. Do you remember that store? She was tearing down her face. She said, "Yes, honey, I remember that store." He said, "Well, I'm in the golf store next door to that." A man was walking along the street one day, and he got hit by a car, and this car pinned him up against the telephone pole. It severed his body, pinned him up. It was a horrible, horrible accident. And the paramedic came out, and he put a blanket over the man. He said, "Sir, are you comfortable?" And the man said, "Well, I make a nice living." We'll end with that one. I'm going to play a song for you that I love. This song I play because my wife loves it, and she's not here tonight. She's at a wedding, and so what a better time to play a song that she loves than when she's not here. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Oh, please don't take my sunshine away. The other night, dear, as I lay sleeping, I dreamed someone took you from my arms. But when I woke, dear, I'm glad I was mistaken, 'cause I couldn't bear to live without your charms. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know how much I really love you. Oh, please don't take my sunshine away. I wish I had a big fine horse and a corn to feed him on, and a little girl to stay at home, feed him while I'm gone. One thing that's gonna make me happy is if she gives me 2 kids, gonna call me Pappy. Oh, please don't take my sunshine away. when my skies are green. You never know All right, a few more tidbits for you to remember. Musician jokes. Get your sticks ready, Steve, for that. Because, okay, let's see. 3 guys went to heaven: a piano player, a bass player, and a trumpet player. And they got to heaven. St. Peter saw the piano player. He said, "All right, come right on in." And he looked at the bass player. He said, "Yeah, come right on in." He looked at the trumpet player. He says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Musicians have to use the back entrance." What is the difference? Let me put it like this. If you're standing at a 13-story building and you had a banjo and an accordion, and you drop them both at the same time, which one hits the ground first? Who the hell cares? There was a bass player, and he was really sad. He was really sad, and he and his wife were having marital problems, and they went to a psychologist, and the psychologist listened to him talk, said, So, what is your main problem? The wife said, "We never talk. We never speak together." He said, okay. Psychologist walked up. He went to his record player. He turned on a Miles Davis record. Things started playing. Songs were beautiful, and as soon as they got to that bass player's solo, sure enough, the man and the woman started talking together. And when it was done, everything was happy. Everybody was smiling. The bass player looked at the psychologist and said, "Why did that work? How did that work? What did you do?" He said, "It's easy. Everybody talks during the bass solo." We're going to play a song here called "The Cotton is High, the Fish Are Jumping." And in what season is it? I can't remember.
It's summertime.
Yeah. Give it to us.
When it's summertime, Sean.
People come out and see us.
That's right. They did it.
Not for long.
You know what the fish do, don't you?
I don't think.
Well, the fish are jumping.
They jump how high?
Yeah, and the cotton's high.
Oh, the cotton's high.
Yeah.
That don't sound legal.
Because your daddy's rich. Illegal. And your ma's a contest winner. So hush, this is a lullaby. Don't you cry. Sean of the South. Let him go. Wow, powerful. Well, you know those fish that were jumping? They were bass fish, which of course reminds me of the bass. So, you got anything you want to talk about? Because I'm thinking about having a bass solo. Y'all you want to talk about anything? Because you know what happens during a bass solo. Everybody talks. But you won't do it with Todd Brazier, I bet. Are you in the mood, man?
Todd Brazier, everybody. Chuck King, everybody. So this woman has a baby. She has a baby, and the baby is just, got this problem. This baby is laying in the cradle going dum 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 dum. The woman holds her baby. She says, "Stop it! Stop it!" The baby's just going dum 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 dum. She says, "Please, please." She takes her to the doctor. She says, "Doctor, I don't know what's wrong with my baby. He's just making all this look." And the doctor holds him. The baby's going dum 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 dum. Doctor says, "You need a psychologist." They take the baby to the psychologist. The psychologist holds the baby. The baby's doing the same thing. Boom, 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 boom. The psychologist looks at him real close in the face. The psychologist says in a loud voice, "Bum, bum, 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 ba-da, bum." And the baby shut up. My granddaddy was a musician. He was a really good musician. And he passed away in that little old farmhouse, that tiny farmhouse on the second floor. And his last request was that everybody would sing for him before he died. And they all gathered around and they sang songs. And that music gave him strength. On the very next morning, he woke up with renewed strength and walked down the stairs holding the rail on them hobbled legs. No one could believe it. He got into the kitchen. He saw that my granny had made one of her famous blueberry pies. He got into the drawer, and he got a little knife and spatula, cut himself a slice, and put it on a plate. And as soon as he got his first forkful, my granny slapped him across the face and said, "That's for your funeral." How about you do us a little bit of, "Oh yeah, wonderful world." This is perhaps one of my favorite songs. The first time that I was ever requested to play this song, I was 19 years old, and it was a Mexican wedding, and the Mexicans asked me to learn this song in Spanish. Heck, I didn't even know it in English, and I had to learn it in Spanish. And when I was finished, it was just such an emotional experience. And the mother of the bride came up to me and she said, "Don't ever try to speak Spanish again."
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. But I see skies of blue, clouds of white, bright blessed day, and the dark sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Well, the colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, "How do you do?" They're really saying, "You." I hear babies crying. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
está el arco iris, están también en el cielo, están también en las caras, en la gente que pasa. Veo amigos dándose la mano, dice ¿qué tal estás? En realidad ¿qué dicen? Te quiero. Los feos me viste llorar, los feos crecen, feos aprenderán más que yo nunca sabré. Y me digo a mí mismo, qué mundo tan maravilloso.
Muy bien.
Gracias.
The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? What are they really saying? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies crying, yes. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, ah, what a wonderful world. Oh, yeah. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonder, yes, world. Oh, yes.
Chuck King, everybody. We're going to take a short intermission. Get up, use the bathroom, do what you need to do. We will meet here in 15 minutes. Thank you very much. Chuck King, Todd Brazier, Steve Ramos, and I'm your host, Bugs Bunny. My uncle went to his men's Bible study group. He's real big in his men's Bible study group, and he's been going for 29 years to the same Bible study group. And he got there, and they gave him the door prize that week. And the door prize was a toilet brush. And I asked him how I liked it. I said, how you like that? He said, well, I've been using it, but I'm going to switch back to paper. our little drama. We kissed in a field of white. Northern stars fell on Alabama last night. My heart beat like a hammer. Her arms wound around me tight. Yeah, and stars fractured Alabama last night. I never planned in my imagination a situation so heavenly, a fairyland that no one else could enter. And in the center, you and me. Her eyes were glamour, her arms around me a little too tight, but stars fell all over Bama last night. Little drama. We kissed in a field of white, and stars fractured Bama last night. I can't forget the glamour. Her eyes held a tender light, and stars fell on Alabama last night. I never planned in my imagination a situation so heavenly, a fairyland that no one else could enter. And in the center, Nick Saban and me. My heart beat like a hammer. Her arms wound around me tight, girl, and stars fell on Alabama last night. And stars appreciate that very, very much, very, very much. I had an uncle named Tommy Lee, who was a very, very tight man. He was so tight. My mother said he was tighter than bark on a tree. Everything, he was just very cheap. She said that whenever he would go to McDonald's, he would back into the drive-thru so that the cashier would be on your side. Just a tight, tight man. And when he was dying, he was in his bedroom, and his family gathered around him, and they were all holding hands, and they were crying. And he said, "Julie, are you here?" She said, "Yes, Daddy, I'm here. I'm right here." He said, "Yeah." "Mama, are you here?" His wife of 37 years, Miss Dolores. She said, "Yes, I'm here. I'm here." He said, "Oh, good, good. Is Todd here and are the boys here?" He said, "Yes, Papa, we're all here." He said, "Then why are the damn lights on in the other room?" Anyway, let's play a song here called Freddie the Freeloader. Ramos. So when I was a boy, I went to go, I wanted to learn how to play outside of church. I had played in church all my life. And we were tight fundamentalist Baptists. We put the mental in fundamentalist. Because the Methodists put the fun in fundamentalist. And that wasn't us. We were deep water Baptists. Deep water Baptists. My mother used to get into hard fights with the Methodists especially. She'd say his name was not John the Sprinkler. Think about that. She'd say he did not march them out into the middle of the River Jordan only to douse their head with 1 tablespoon of water. Now, the reason I bring this up tonight is because if I can just help save one Methodist. But I played a lot in church and piano. From age 9, I was, God love them, the people had to suffer through a lot of times. I wasn't very good. And I got to an older age and I wanted to play outside of church. And I told you about that Gulf Coast Jazz Society. But basically, it was the Sunshine Club for a lot of older men. They all got into a room. They adjusted their hearing aids that had batteries that hadn't been changed since the Jimmy Carter administration. And they listened to Buddy DeFranco play on the clarinet. Buddy DeFranco he was an old man by the time I knew him, and he had taken over for the Glenn Miller Orchestra. And he'd spent some time in the Benny Goodman Orchestra, too. And I asked if there was a way I could learn how to play. I wanted to learn how to play music, real music, the kind of music that my grandparents listened to, which was a lot of this stuff, big band, standards, American jazz. And they pointed me to a man named Davy Jones. That was his name. A lot of people called him Hatchet Head because he had a head shaped like a hatchet when viewed from the side. He was an old man when I met him. He was in his 80s, and he had a stunning past, and he was not someone who I would have normally been allowed to associate with because he was a graduate of Auburn University. And we consider them part of the mission field. He had taught composition and theory at Auburn University, and he had a lot of personal issues that led him to step away from that job. But he loved composition. He loved music more than any human being I've ever met. Had 2 baby blue eyes and a large nose and a crown of white hair around his head. And they said, go see Davy. Davy will teach you. He lives over on Campbell Street. Well, he lived in the back garage of an old widow in our town. And this garage was outfitted with stud walls and sheetrock and bookshelves. And this room was about the size of this stage, maybe half this, and every wall from top to bottom was books, and his walls were just bookshelves improvised with dusty books from head to foot, and music books everywhere and instruments lying around. He played the upright bass, and he'd played the upright bass since he was 12 years old when one of the Auburn professors of his day said that he could accompany him to gigs with this little bass. And it was the same bass that he had learned how to play. And he called her Betsy. And I got into this place. There was a little upright piano in the corner, and the place reeked of Winston cigarettes. He was a very spiritual man. Whenever anybody would sing a hymn, he knew every word. I mean, he knew every word to every hymn. Whenever I remember he asked me to sing a hymn for him, and I sang, "Just As I Am," without one plea. And I sang part of it, and he sang every single lyric, every single verse with me without ever once dropping the cigarette out the corner of his mouth. And he taught me music every Monday. And for a child like me who had no way, I had a hard time finding my way in life. He was a beacon for me. I had something to look forward to every week to go over to Davy's house. And Davy always had something new for me to play, new for me to discover. And he'd play upright bass with me, and he'd close his eyes, and he'd tell me, "Close your eyes, get into it." And then before we played, before we would play, we would listen. It was mandatory. We would listen to anything and everything. He'd make me listen to Hank Sr. He'd make me listen to Ray Charles. He'd make me listen to Bela Bartok. And he'd make me listen to Saint-Saëns, who composed The Swan. As I was playing, he said, "Do you ever feel like an ugly duckling?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Yeah, I could see that in you." He said, "Well, one day you're going to blossom and become this beautiful swan." And we listened to that. And we listened to Oscar Peterson and Art Tatum and Nat Cole. And we listened to all sorts of music. He was a good, good man. When he passed, I had heard that through the grapevine, that Davy was found lying in his kitchen. And he had had a stroke. And I went over to the house, and the ambulance was leaving. And Davy's van was just sitting there. And I was on his porch crying. And that little widow who lived in that house came up to me and sat beside me. And she said, "He was getting ready for your visit on Monday. And he was working on music, when he died. And he loved you." And I went to go visit his grave up in Opelika, where they buried him. And I wrote a story about it, and it was such a personal story. And a few weeks later, I got a letter in the mail from a large magazine. Well, I'll tell you, it was Newsweek. And this letter said, "We are going to run a story that we anonymously received in the mail." It was sent to us from an anonymous sender who only goes by the name Your Wife. It was the first major thing that had ever happened to me in my writing career. And it was all about visiting Davy and Davy's grave and the gift that he gave me, the gift of music, beautiful music. And I'm going to play you the song that he was working on for me to learn when he died. And I play this, if he's listening, I play this for Davy. Don't know why there's no sun in my sky, stormy weather since my gal and I ain't together. Keeps raining all the time. Life is bare, gloom and misery everywhere, stormy weather. Can't seem to pull myself together. Keeps raining all the time. When she went away, those blues walked in, met me. Every night I pray, the Lord above will lend. If I'm not careful, a rocking chair is gonna get me. But I want to walk in the sunlight again. Can't go on. Everything I had is gone. Stormy weather. Can't seem to get myself together. Keeps raining all the time. Walked in, met me, and I'm afraid a rocking chair is gonna get me. Every night I pray to the Lord above, won't you let me walk in the sunlight, Lord, again. Can't go on. Everything I have is gone. Stormy weather. Since you and me ain't together. Keeps raining all the time. Welcome back to the microphone, if you will, Mr. Chuck King. Chuck, what's the greatest gig you've ever played?
This one.
No, seriously.
No, you think I'm kidding, but
you need to raise your
right
standards.
now. This is the best one. It's wonderful. This is great fun.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Seriously though, what would be one of your top? What's one of the most fun things you've ever had?
Wow, that's awfully hard. I love there are a lot of clubs around Birmingham that I love playing, like Rojo. It's always fun. Play the anniversary there every year.
Yeah.
And the Bright Star. Every year they bring in a chef from New Orleans, and we go around table to table. Todd's usually there.
What kind of food do they serve?
And play. Todd, you can probably tell about the food better than I can.
Yeah, what kind of food would they serve? What menu would that be for that night?
Just go get snapper throats,
Fried snapper. Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
They have their regular menu, but then they also have the chef who's come up, his menu. So
Ooh, okay.
they have two separate menus.
All right.
You haven't been to that?
I have not, no. I lead a very sheltered life. Right here, this is my only social activity.
It's the first weekend in August.
Okay. All right, well, I'll try to get there next
Yeah.
time. Play us something you can play right there.
What about? We like to do a little bit of kind of raunchy kind of music, like St. James Infirmary.
Sure, yeah.
Because it starts out something like this. Hidey, hidey, hi, hi. Oh, hooty, hooty, hoo. Hidey, hidey, hi. Hidey, 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 hi. Oh. Hooty, hooty, hoo. Hidey, hidey, hi. Sean, sometimes we like to do it in different ways. So it it's fun to be kind of sultry.
Yeah. We're not allowed to do sultry in the Baptist church.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the term.
So that means you get a lot of breathiness.
Oh, okay.
You can do that, can't you?
No. Baptists, we're not allowed to have premarital relations with the opposite sex because it could lead to breathiness.
Howdy, howdy, hi, hi. Howdy, howdy, ho. Hooty, hooty, hoo. Howdy, howdy, hi. What really makes it good is you'll snap your fingers on 2 and 4. Are you doing it? See, I can't see you. I'll have to take your word for it. I'll hear the
Sorry,
snap.
there's only half of them doing it. It's kind of sad.
You can really feel it. Aren't you feeling cool if you're doing it? Down to St. James Infirmary.
Oh, yeah.
Saw my baby there.
Saw my baby.
Spread out on all long white table. So cold, so bad.
Oh, baby.
Let her go, let her go. God bless her. For wherever she may be, she can look this wide world all over. She'll never find another sweet trumpet player like me. Ba-da-dee-bop, ba-da-dee-bop, bop-em, shwee-dee-bop-a-dee-bop. Poor men, poor men, poor men.
How about this guy, huh, Chuck King? Well, I want to tell you, we have a real treat for you. Tonight is a special night. We have a real treat for you. Because tonight is the night that you're probably going to get to hear classical music on the banjo. Where's our banjo player? For the three of you in the audience who don't know, this is Bobby Horton, everybody.
Good afternoon. I just came down here to watch these guys because I am having a ball. They're wonderful. I've known Chuck, what, 50 years now, Chuck?
Yeah, I think so.
What a great player and an even nicer fellow. And, of course, my godson here, Todd and Steve. I feel like I'm fifth wheel, but let's do something anyway.
Well, there's a rule with the jazz and jokes. You have to tell us a joke. I think you had one about...
Oh, yeah, you know...
You got any good jokes?
Yes, I do. I love sharing this story because it's really moving. These ladies in London were dear friends, and they were in their 60s. And about the same time, their husbands got ill and got sicker and sicker. And they, around the same time, they lost both of their husbands. And they were in mourning, and they were talking one day, and they said, why don't we go on a holiday together? And so they decided to do that, to get away from the sadness. So they came to America. They were walking the streets of New York, and they came in front of a hot dog stand. And one turns to the other and says, I say, have you ever had a hot dog? And she says, no, I never have. I've heard of them my whole life. She says, let's have one, shall we? Indeed. And they walked in and they ordered a hot dog. The man plopped one. And one lady looked at the other and says, I say, which part of the dog did you get? Okay.
That's probably my favorite joke.
I love that joke, too. That joke's probably 150 years old. I am not kidding you, but I've loved it I heard it when I was a kid, and I hadn't forgot it.
So what are we going to start with?
Well, we're going to start with we're going to do an old tune that everybody here knows, and everybody can play with this one. But it goes back to the 1850s, written by a fellow named Daniel Emmett from Ohio. And he wrote a bunch of tunes, Boatman Dance, Dixie for others, and many, many more. This is one of my favorites. Sang it in grammar school. And it's in F, and it goes like, let's see. 1, 2, 3, go. Well, I went down south for to see my Sal sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. My Sal, she is a spunky gal, sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, my fairy fair. For I'm going to Louisiana for to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Sitting on a railroad track, sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Sipping what? Okay, starting over. Oh, a grasshopper sitting on a railroad track, sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Just a picking his teeth with a carpet tack, sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Fare thee well, 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 my fairy face. For to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day.
Take on, Bobby.
Trying to think of another verse singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. If I keep on doing this, it's gonna get worse. Sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Fare thee well, fare thee well, fare thee well, my fairy face. For I'm going to Louisiana for to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Take it down. Behind the barn down on my knees, sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. I thought I heard a chicken sneeze, sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Well, she sneezed so hard with the whooping cough, sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day, that she sneezed her head and tail right off, sing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Fare thee well, 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 my fairy face. For I'm going to Louisiana for to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Fare thee well, 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 my fairy face. For I'm going to Louisiana for to see my Susiana singing Polly Wolly Doodle all the day. Thank you. Play another one.
More.
There you go. What key? Yeah. What?
Yeah. F. All right. Yeah. All right. Let's do it.
Do it. Yeah. I'll just sit here and hang on to this one.
You sing it. Or...
Yeah,
Okay.
everybody.
Okay. Start us off. when this life is over, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away, I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh, boy. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. Ah, give us some Dixieland banjo. Mr. Bobby Horton. Come on, Chuck. Ooh, just 8, 2, 4, 3 days, and then, Lord, I'll fly away to a home where joy shall never end. I'll fly away. Fly away, oh, glory. Fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and oh, when the saints go marching in, oh, when the saints go marching in, Lord, I want to be in that number. When the saints go marching in,
Oh, when the saints
oh, when the saints
go
folks, for being here tonight. It's been a pleasure. Bobby Horton, Chuck King, Steve Ramos, Todd Brasher on the bass. Thank you very much, everybody.